So the big question is this: what is life like on tour when you're playing professional golf? Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's tough. That's the question, and this is the podcast that's going to give you the answer. Welcome to Tales of the Tour on Stock Shot Secrets. Welcome back to another episode of Stock Shot Secrets, and we are doing another episode of our series, Tales of...
Tales of the Tour.
Tales of the Tour, God.
Do you know where we are?
Where am I? Tales of the Tour, where we, my beloved wife and I, are going through stories of being on tour and all of the epic learning experiences, funny stories, life stories. One for us, also because I think they're pretty funny. Two for our three for our kids, because one day they might go back and look at this. And it's just fun to think. So we left the last episode, if you remember, with me about to be enlightened by going and meeting with Bender.
So
right?
It starts out, we were invited by the Metzgers, one of Kyle's sponsors, investors, and NCCA, National Christian College Athletic Association.
Which is an amazing organization, right?
Great.
That's, I love how like their national championships, they'll do a service project and, they like, hey, we're about to compete on the field, but like, let's go serve the people that were like in the city that the national championship is. But before getting into the NCAA, because the NCAA Pro-Am was actually another story in itself, because it was the greatest playing performance I had ever had in my life. So I go out there, one of my best buddies, like one of the greatest human beings on the planet, Jonathan Moore, is working with Bender. And Jonathan Moore, I don't even know if you even knew this.
I did not know he worked with Bender.
Jay Moore
I thought he worked with
he worked with Ledbetter for a while, and then he had moved over to work with Bender. And he was the number one amateur in the world, like on the Walker Cup, won the Walker Cup, but just like a heart of gold. And
probably
he says,
the nicest individual. Him and his wife Claire, literally the two nicest people on this earth. Yeah,
like the best.
The best people. Amazing.
And he and Ben boast again. Okay. Says,
shout out to Ben. Hey.
you should really go see this guy Mike. Who I had no idea who it was, but I was like, hey, sure, okay. So I go out there. We play golf before. I remember playing 9 holes at Orange Tree.
This is before the
NCAA.
NCCAA.
Yeah, so this is
Pro-Am.
this is legitimately Monday, Tuesday, and like the Pro-Am starts Thursday.
Later in the week, yeah.
I go out to Orange Tree, super tight course, play really good on 9 holes. I mean, it's just for fun, but I think I shot 31 or 32, which the course was really hard, so it was a really good round. Go up to see Mike, and it's at this moment that I go up there, and I'll never forget, like, that first lesson he teaches me, which essentially has become the framework. And that's the cool part about this is, like, me helping all of our listeners and players, like, do this is everything that they're learning from alignment to grip and stock shots and blah, 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 blah. Like, I learned as a player, right? So, like, their feelings I've already felt. And I remember, like, learning about how to, aim my face and then look 40 feet left and aim my feet parallel left. That was the first lesson. And then as well as, like, having the zone poles out in front of you, right, which is, I guess it'd be like day 4 of the Stock Shot Challenge.
Is
or
that
Module
like
3.
the 2 alignment sticks that you're trying to hit through?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was trying to keep my back to the target, which is the same thing I'm working on in my swing now, which it is February of 2023. So 13 years later, folks, I'm still working on it because our stuff is our stuff, right? But I remember doing it. The beauty about Mike, and I told him this when we did our podcast, is that every question I always had an answer, and it was always done. He would always give it an analogy in a different context. So, like, it wasn't always the golf. So, like, whatever it was he was always teaching me was always like, yeah, but it's kind of like this. And that's a really big thing just from, like, if you guys are listening and ever talking and presenting, the more times that you can say, hey, it's like this, and you can equate it to something different,
outside of
whatever it is.
Topic.
So if you're talking about financials, but it's like, it's kind of like this in football. And then they're like, oh, yeah, I understand that. So now I get it.
Yeah.
Right? So, but it was keeping your back to the target in the range. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this stock shot thing that Jack Nicklaus had introduced to me back in 2008, which I knew was the thing. Like that was the vehicle to make me better. And now here is a guy who believes the same thing, but also now teaching me the tactics of how to actually execute it. And I was like, this is incredible. And I start hitting balls in this lesson, and we spend, I don't know, 3 hours together that day. Maybe it was 2 days. I don't remember. Still got it back in my V1 profile. And I was like, this is awesome. And then I go to the NCAA program. And 3 days later, Mike's doing the same thing, right? He's going there to work as the pro-am. And I go there, and in 36 holes, I shoot 23 under in 36 holes, which is like... I black out. I'm shooting. I mean, I'm playing. It's just ridiculous. Like, I just cannot stop making birdies. And and at that moment, it's 3-4 days after, and I'm like, this is the way, the truth, and the life. Like, I have found the Coca-Cola secret formula that is going to take me to the promised land of the land of milk and honey. So I was in. Right? And that was I'm sold. Right? And from there, I mean, we don't need to keep going into it, but that's kind of what the show is about, really, because of the fact that, like, that started me learning this framework of learning the tactics of, like, steep, shallow, steep. And going back, I've got it. The first video on my phone is a video from 2 weeks before that in Scottsdale. I've got white pants and a gray shirt. Sick pants, man. And I've got this in my face. You know, I'm, like, laid off, and I'm steep, and blah, blah, blah. And it looks back because it's changed so much. So it just shows.
Isn't that when he told you, he was like, you're going to start holing out?
Yes.
Okay, so Kyle had never had a hole-in-one.
Yes.
Which we're not there yet. What was your first hole-in-one? Was it Pearland?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not to Pearland yet.
But he did call this.
But he called it. He was like, you're going to start holing out left and right.
And I go, he goes, how many hole-in-ones have you had? I go, I've never had a hole-in-one. He goes, oh, get ready. You're going to a lot.
Yeah.
And
then Kyle went on like a tear of like 7 hole-in-ones in like 2 years. And it was like,
yeah.
Wow, this guy is really good.
But it was because the ball, looked at him, I go, what are you talking about? Like, that, you're stupid. He's like, no, like, you're going to hole out a lot. I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, listen, if you keep throwing the lure in front of the face of the fish will bite eventually. So because the ball is starting right, curving left, but not over curving the line, it'll then spin back left and go into the hole. And I was like, it sounds sweet.
Science.
But, like, it's science. Right? And then I remember him being, I'm like, well, what about the stock shot? Like, I would ask questions like our users, like, why a draw? He goes, well, let me ask you a question. Do you like, what are most greens pitched at? And you go, well, back to front. You go, what kind of putts do you like? They go right to left. You go, great. So you're going to have a bunch of 10-footers that are right to left. You're welcome. It's like, oh, that's exactly what I want. Right?
Cha-ching.
So anyway, so now we're at the NCAA. We did that pro-am. Amazing event.
Yep. Amazing organization.
Where is our timeline headed now?
You went to Gainesville, Georgia. I don't really remember Gainesville,
I was hanging with
Georgia.
Rocky.
Gainesville, Georgia.
Yeah,
okay.
just another grind. That was at Ocala National. The course it was a really nice course, but it was just they like had no sand and bad condition.
No,
but
not good. So then from there, I feel like this is kind of where our season kind of really started with Hooters Tour. We went to McCormick. We're back at McCormick. We were there our first year. This year we stayed with the Winsteads. Yep. Grand Anna.
Last time we were there, we were coming in as guests as another family. Donnie was staying with them.
Yeah.
But now we are Donnie. I think maybe had stopped playing.
Donnie was staying with the Winsteads, and then we're like, we gotta stay with this family next year.
Right.
And then next year, Donnie connected us, and we stayed with the Winsteads. Right. And I mean, all of our host families were amazing. They're all retired couples who like to hang out in the evening, smoke a cigar, have a beverage, and we're like, sweet.
Yep.
And they like to eat good food. So, I mean, they really take care of you.
For the
and
chef
Grant,
and you were eating it up.
Yeah, but I was always like, don't tell people that I went to culinary school, because I didn't want people to be like, oh my gosh, I have to cook for someone who like went to culinary school. I didn't want to come into someone's house and like put them off that way. So, but
it was always one of those things too, where I would just say it and then ask for forgiveness later, because I was so happy or not happy. I was
cool.
proud of the fact of what your job was, and you were so good at it at school. And I'm like, yeah, there's my wife. She's amazing and beautiful, and she's a McCaddy and she's a chef. And you're like,
just don't tell anyone,
because you would think that they would judge, or you would judge for what they were eating.
They think I would like judge the food, and it's like I eat all food. I do not discriminate with any food. I will eat.
Just give me that food in that tummy.
They were so good to us.
Yes.
Cook dinner every night. Yep. Go out with them now and then. The Winsteads, amazing people. Yeah. So from there, that
always a hard week though because of the allergies.
Yes, you always had a tough time, and that course was so. I mean, very hilly, very hilly course.
Yeah.
But really pretty.
Yeah. But now after that, that's in May. So now we had to probably go to Cherry Blossom.
Well, you went to Hampton, Georgia. I don't know what Hampton, Georgia was. It's in the blog.
Probably missed a cut.
Yeah. So then we head to Cherry Blossom, which Cherry Blossom,
the start of the Summer of Love.
Summer of Love. But if you remember, that was my very, very, very first experience. We talked about it a couple episodes ago that it was like my first experience caddying.
Hey guys, I hope you are enjoying this episode of the Stock Shot Secrets podcast. If you are enjoying it, be sure to like this episode. Be sure to subscribe so you can always see when they're coming out. And most importantly, if you would be so kind to be able to share this podcast with other passionate golfers who are trying to get better and build stock shots, because it grows through you sharing it. Thank you so much for tuning in. And now back to Stock Shot Secrets. Okay.
Both of our parents were down there. You're like, just hold the umbrella over the golf bag.
Oh, so that was this year that happened?
No, that was the year before.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm just saying
same week.
I'm just saying we're now back to that same tournament. And
so it's basically 1 year of you've been on the
We're back for 1 year, and now I'm like, I come in.
I know where you're going with this.
I have a whole new wardrobe.
I'm a caddy's wife or a golfer's wife.
I have a whole new caddy wardrobe. I have like the cute little tennis skirts, collared shirts. I'm like, I'm here. We look good. Because Kyle was sponsored by Sligo.
Yeah. Which was so great. Like how I pulled that off.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So they would send him clothes. Titleist was sending him balls and visors. Kyle wore the old school tour visors.
Yeah.
I should have brought those relics out.
Yeah.
But
some relics from newspaper articles.
We do. We'll get to that here in a minute. We have a lot of relics this time. So yeah, we were like, we look good. Yeah. Because it was a lot of, do you remember we'd always say, if you look good, you feel good, and you play good.
Yeah.
It was all about like that confidence. That P and Lynn talked about having that swag.
Right.
We talked about that a lot.
Because for me, like the thing is like, not to pour too into my heart, but like the thing was in college, when I played in college, like I had a really good college career, right? And not to be like an egomaniac, but like I would essentially take the golf course and I'm like, I just have to not put it in a dude's pool. Like I just need to essentially show up and I'm going to have a chance to compete and win.
Yeah.
I just don't need to not do anything really stupid.
Yeah.
But then, like, when you go out, and I was talking to a young lady the other day who is really good and probably going to turn professional, and I was like, it's hard because, like, you get out there and, like, you shoot 68, 69 and miss a cut, and, like, you just get beat down. Like, every Friday, Mitch and I were talking about like 3 days ago, every Friday night, you just feel like trash because it's just like, you spend all this money, you play, and it just rips your heart out of your soul.
Yeah.
So, like, it just, and enough there, right? I mean, going on 2 years now at this time of the story. It's just like the swag of, like, building that up through.
That confidence,
yeah, like, it just.
You got to have that.
Yeah. And it's at that level, like, it's certainly skill matters, but, like, it's very mental. I mean, you saw some of the people where you go, like, how's that guy even make contact?
Yeah.
I mean, my swing was good, and it was like, but that dude's beating my brains in every week.
Yeah.
Like Ted Potter Jr.
Oh, my gosh. Him and there was another guy that won. Between Ted Potter and...
God, I mean, they would lose, but
it's
really
like... tall. He was tall, very thin.
I don't know. They all seem tall to me.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, we're at Cherry Blossom, and I feel like this is when... So we started hanging out with a couple other married couples. There was about 4 married couples, and not all the wives would caddy. Claire and I definitely caddied
They all
a lot.
started, though.
They all started caddying.
You were caddying, then Madeline started caddying, Claire was caddying.
Jamie caddied a little bit.
Jamie started caddying.
So we became like this group
Kels started caddying.
And we're all newlyweds.
Yeah.
And we're all newlyweds learning life together.
Yep.
As
and we're pretty much the only married couples on tour.
And we're the only married couples on tour.
Because we're all 23, 4, 5 years old.
Yeah. So that's when I feel like our group kind of really solidified then at Cherry Blossom.
Well, it really solidified in the hotel room with the wine tasting.
Wine tasting.
So we go and we decide. Remember,
one of the couples hosts a wine tasting in their hotel room.
So we all we're 20. Well, this is 2010.
We're
so
like we're 23.
25. 20. Well, yeah, 25 because I was born in 85. So and you're 26 because you like younger men. So we go in there. We do a wine tasting. We have no money. right?
So they're like literally bottles of barefoot.
They're
and I'm
barefoot
like, we're like,
and
we know
yellowtail.
all these.
And then they would do the nice bottles, and we're like, we don't know this one.
No one knew
And then it
them.
was like the barefoot purple label Pinot Noir. I'm like, I know this one.
Yeah.
This is my favorite, right?
But we're doing wine tastings in a hotel room, and who was all there? The Moores.
Posies.
Posey was there. I don't think Mrs. Posey was there.
Yeah, I don't think so.
She traveled sporadically.
Later. Yep.
Bolins?
And I don't think Bolins were there yet.
I don't know if the Bolins were there.
I don't think they were.
But there was a special. So this night we did wine tasting, and we decided to head over to Carrabba's for dinner.
Yep.
And we all just pack in two SUVs, all these couples. So
the moon's almost coming out, but we need to.
Yeah, the moon's not quite out. So we're sitting at the stoplight. Should this person remain unnamed until we verify that he wants to?
He probably wouldn't care, but we'll just say
okay.
unnamed.
This individual was unnamed, and they're part of our group, and decides to. They're in the car in front of us.
Drive down the highway with this
mooning everyone, mooning us. We're just at the stoplight. I remember, and we look up, and there is the moon.
It's a full moon, but it's in the middle of the day. What do you know?
I wonder if you need to call him and have him on an episode,
yes,
and you need to see if he remembers that.
Oh, he definitely remembers.
Okay.
So
yeah, that was like the beginning.
Mr. Moon.
Mr. Moon.
I had a cat named Mr. Moon.
Yeah, you did. But that was like the beginning of like our little newlyweds group, and we called it this. That became the Summer of Love.
Yes, that was the Summer of Love.
That was the Summer of Love. We had so much fun. All of these young married couples.
It's amazing too. Well, I don't know. I mean, would you say back in those times, like? And it's okay. Like it's, we're doing a podcast, so we're sharing. Like, what were some of the struggles that like we had back then? Because it's always interesting, right? Like, not like maybe even like what we had in marriage. Like, I think our struggles are like any normal. It's not like we're more in love than like anyone I've ever met, and we're told that all the time of how much we adore each other, which is the truth.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just saying, like, it's interesting in life how. Like Rowan a couple weeks ago, our middle daughter, she's like, I'm so stressed out. And it's like, you're 8. You have no idea what stress is. And Adler's like,
for her, that's stressful.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And Adler comes to me the other day and he's like, and I remember thinking this, he's like, when I'm not in school anymore, life is going to be so much better. And that's exactly what I used to think when I was 14. Like, when I have no homework, but it's like homework changes. Now I'm doing P&Ls and balance sheets and HR statements. Like, barf.
Yeah.
Right? So, but like, do you remember like what back in there? Okay, I just remember the pit in my stomach on Friday nights of missing cuts. Like,
because
that was terrible.
That was hard. But I feel like honestly, it would be like, you need to hang up your towel. Like honestly, that's what like our.
They've definitely heard that already. Like,
yeah.
I hang up my towel at least 99% of the time now. I used to do it every time.
I don't ever think you leave the towel on the ground, and you take your coffee cup.
Oh, honey, you trained me well.
Yeah, and you take your coffee cup to the sink when you're done, so I wouldn't have to clean up. I don't really remember. We were in such just like being newlyweds.
But that's what I'm saying. It's even like back.
It was cute at that time.
Yeah, looking back at that time though,
it was very.
It was very euphoric though. It was like what a. I think that if we look back when you and I are sipping coffee or a glass of wine when we're 80, and even like we do now, we'll go back in our 20s, like looking back into our 20s, and we'll say, we spent our 20s well.
Oh, 100%.
Like, we did what we should have done in our 20s.
But that's why we're doing this podcast, because we're like, we had an amazing go around in our 20s, and that's why we need to like record it all and like document it. It was just such a, I was
telling a guy the other day, and I was like,
fun.
he came in to interview for a position, and he was an old academy student, because I basically just hire academy students. 70% of my workforce, our workforce, I should say, are former students, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Because they get it, right? But I was saying, like, hey, listen, man, like, you're 25. Like, here's a really cool opportunity. The ceiling's really high, but, like, you're 25. Like, you can kind of fail. You can take a stab. Like, if you were 52, maybe not, right? Like, what we were talking about, like, this might be a little bit more bold. But for right now, like, you can give it a try. It might make you, millionaires. Billionaires, right? Yeah. Okay, so now we're at Summer of Love. Group. We've got a full moon. That's happened. We got our group, which now has transformed the situation. I mean, it was already fun because you're playing
fun,
golf,
but now
it's
a
like,
party.
Now it's a party.
But it's like a serious party. The guys are
yeah,
serious about golf.
We're grinding.
But like the evenings, we're having fun. The ladies are
But that
all
was the
hanging
beauty
out.
of it. It's like no one, all of us, we all had the same like belief system. We had the same we had the same personalities. We had the same comedy. But like were also very serious.
Yeah.
So we also helped keep each other like. Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
So like
it wasn't like a free for all. You go to Vegas, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. The guys were very serious.
It wasn't
during
like
the day.
It wasn't like when you were working for the Firebirds and Waste Management.
Thunderbirds
or Thunderbirds.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah. Those.
So yeah, I mean, our group was. It was fun. It was a blast, and I miss those days. They were just something that we were young and wild and free.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a break right there. Right? We can come back to another episode of Tales of the Tour, but that's pretty epic. I mean, we meet some of our best friends. I meet Bender, have a career low, and the journey, I guess in some sense now, the journey's like really starting to start, right? Because I'm like, I start to feel like I'm doing the right things, which is awesome. So thanks so much for everybody for tuning in. Thank you, sweetheart, for being here. And we will see you guys back here for another episode of Tales of the Tour on Stock Shot Secrets. Hey, thank you so much for listening to the latest episode of Stock Shot Secrets. I would love to invite you to Columbus to come see me and hang out with me and build a personalized plan for you and your game. If you would want more information about building your personalized plan and coming to Columbus and hanging out, just email us at info@thegolfroom.com and we will get back to you and set your visit for an epic red carpet experience at TGR in Columbus, Ohio.